everyone. Welcome back. Today I am talking with Dr. Shola Ezeokoli. Dr. Ezeokoli is an internist and physician coach who helps busy physicians defeat and prevent burnout, as well as create options for themselves outside of traditional medicine. I am so thrilled that she is here with me today, and I'm so excited to talk with her.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here. I've been looking forward to this. I've just been like sitting in front of my computer, looking at the time, like it's like, okay, is it time yet? Is it time yet?
Shola. Well, me too, honestly, because I just enjoy these conversations, and I'm so excited to talk with you. And as you know, our topic is joy. So I'm going to jump in and ask you, how do you define joy? Do you feel like it's a thought, a feeling, an action, all three, something else?
Oh wow, that's a big one. Um, I'm of the opinion that joy is um when I was younger, I used to say happiness comes from happenings, joy comes from the inside. Joy is it's a feeling, it's a thought, and it's an action.
Hmm.
Okay. It's I think the it would be something would be missing if it didn't have those three parts,
Hmm.
because our thoughts tend to create our feelings.
Yes.
So, and those feelings then produce the actions that we do. So for example, I'm sitting here, before we came on, I was making this joke about with you about the rise of the machines, and we
Yes.
were we were laughing because we had fun. We were having fun thinking about how the machines were going to take over.
Right.
Now, I could have chosen that thought. I chose that thought, or we could have said, "Oh my goodness, technology is bad. It's unreliable. Blah blah blah."
Right.
So, picking the joyful thought chose a joyful feeling, and we burst into laughter.
Yes.
So I think it's like a cycle of all three,
Hmm.
and the sooner you can get to plug into any part of the cycle,
Hmm.
the quicker you get joy.
Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I love that. I love that explanation because it is so true. The situation is what it is. And if you can either tend to look at it and laugh, or you can look at it and get stressed out and frustrated. But the situation
Exactly.
is still the
Yes.
same.
Precisely. And I find that it's not always the gravity of the situation.
Mhm.
There are some situations that are grave, no doubt.
Yes.
But there are some situations that, if it's not a grave situation, you can find a little nugget of joy, something that can just make you a bit more lighthearted about it. And then you feel better, even if the situation doesn't change,
Yes.
And sometimes even having joy makes you more creative of thoughts, as
Yes.
opposed to spiraling that down that, oh my goodness, I planned for this and this has gone wrong. It's like, oh, this has gone wrong. Oh well, things happen. Ha ha ha. What can we do now?
Right. Right. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
You have such an infectious laugh. Mm.
Oh, so what brings you joy? When do you feel the most joy?
So I have learned to find joy in things versus trying to look for things that bring me joy, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I find joy in traffic, in when machines break down, in literally. I was looking for a cord for my mic before we started, and then
Uh-huh.
I can't find it. So I'm like, you know what? I like to talk. I like to shout. I'll just talk louder. Hello. So I tell my clients this: find something that do something to create joy every day.
Hmm.
Instead of waiting for something that brings us joy,
Yes.
do something that brings you joy.
Hmm.
Plugging into that cycle, either the thought, the feeling, or the action,
Hmm.
and then take an active role in your joy. So when I feel the most joy, I can literally, unless, like I said, unless it's a really grave situation, I can find joy in anything.
Hmm.
Every day, I have to drive 4 hours in traffic, two
Ah.
hours one way, 2 hours another day.
Hmm.
If I wasn't used to just finding the joy in everyday life and in everyday things, I would have crumbled by now because it's frustrating. I live in Chicago. Girl, the people here, I don't know. I don't know what driving school they went to, but man, I'm like, do I even want my kids driving on this road? Like, and in traffic in the morning, it's like you have to be on high alert and this and that.
Mhm.
So what I do, I play music in my car. I talk to my kids. This morning, my daughter and I said to her, I said, have you heard of the Primal Scream? She's like, what's that? I said, it's when you just scream the loudest you can. And so I said, do you want to try it? And here we were for like 20 seconds. I said, ready, go. And we both just screamed. And after that, we had this we laughed for probably about a minute because it was so crazy.
Yeah, that's great.
But guess what? I'm always going to remember that and laugh. And
Yeah,
she's always going to remember it and laugh. In this world, you have to find joy in the little things. You have to go and find your joy because ain't nobody trying to sit there bringing it to you.
right. You got to go get it.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Yes, I love that.
That's what makes life fun.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's so true. And you'd be surprised, or maybe not, but what you could come up with, like where did that come from, right? Why did that come into your mind about just right now you're gonna do the scream? You know, but it was
And we did the scream. And then we were like, oh my God, that's so much fun. Tomorrow we're going to do it with your sister because we had already dropped her sister off. So we're like, tomorrow we're going to do it. And all three of us are going to do the scream. Now we're planning for the scream.
Right. That's great. I love that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's good. So, how about a time, maybe a story about another fun time that you had with your family, whether you were on vacation or just everyday life or just anything.
So this comes to mind because um anyway, I'll tell you the story and then something that followed after it and how, joy can actually be very, very empowering.
Mm-hmm.
So I was supposed to have this conference on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was a whole weekend. So on Friday, they canceled the conference. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Mm.
All right then. So what that meant was that on Saturday, me, my husband, he's a hospitalist, and our
Mm-hmm.
two kids were at home with nothing to do, with
Ah,
zero plans. So, wow, we were like, man, this doesn't always happen because how weekends are, something's always scheduled and this and that.
yes.
So I was scheduled to be at this conference and he was going to just be at home with them. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, we're all here. What should we do? So we went out and we went to play mini golf.
Oh,
None of us had ever played mini golf before.
I love mini
So
golf.
we didn't know what we were doing. It was so every time somebody missed a hole, we'd be like, ugh. Every time somebody got a hole in one, we were clapping. We weren't opponents, we were just playing. And we had so much fun. It was just pure unbridled fun. And I think the spontaneity of it was unplanned.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, so I went to bed on this high, right?
Right.
The next day I woke up and I was in the midst of dealing with some toxic situation and whatnot. And the thought of going into that situation, all the joy that I had the day before just drained out of me. In that moment, I decided I have to leave this organization. I can no longer go back there anymore. And that was it. I dare say that if I hadn't been so joyful the day before,
Yeah.
I realized like, kind of like, this is how I want to feel
Yes.
most of the time.
Yes. Yes.
So that came as soon as you said that was what came to mind. How I basically used joy to propel myself forward, knowing that this level of joy was possible for me.
Yes. You set the bar high for yourself and then you had to match it. Nothing else would do.
Exactly.
You want everything in your life to match that awesome good feeling.
Yes. So I was able to take the whole thought, feeling, and action, and leaving that organization kind of just went my overall levels of joy were now increased and whatnot.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Wow, good for you for making that a priority. Yes. Say- That's great. I love that.
Yes, me too. I'm glad that I prioritize joy.
Yes, yes, exactly. So the next thing that you go into, if it's not that level or not at that, doesn't bring you that type of joy, it's just not going to work.
Exactly.
So now you know what you're looking for. That's
Yeah.
good.
I've tasted the joy high.
Yes. No reason why you can't have that in all aspects of life, home, work, everything you do.
Exactly.
It's good. I love it. Oh, nice, nice. So, how about a time in your life that brought you so much pleasure that you wish you could repeat it?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. It's like joy and pleasure. That interplay of the two of them. Now
Yes.
let me see. A time in my life that brought me so much pleasure that I wish I could repeat it. In fact, I am going to repeat it, and I'm going to look for a way to repeat it.
Good.
A few months ago, this was in April. So my birthday is in April, and my husband took me on a trip to Vegas.
Ah.
I mean, it was amazing. We stayed in a very beautiful, luxury hotel. I could
Mhm.
tell that he splurged. Um,
Ah.
and on one of the days, we stayed in a cabana, in the hotel, just by the pool, and we spent the whole day there. Now, there were just two of us in this whole cabana. There were other cabanas where there were groups, but that day I had, it was nice to be waited on hand and foot,
Oh, nice. Yes.
and we just sat there. We were just, kind of being treated like a queen, a king. And we had nothing to do. So we were talking, we watched some TV, we went in the water, came out, and it was just 8 hours of
Wow.
doing freaking nothing but eating and drinking. So I'm like, you have to, now you have to take me back because
Yes.
now nothing else will do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. King and queen. You can't beat that.
Exactly. You can't beat that. So yeah, that is something that not only do I want to repeat, I will repeat it.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, good for you. That sounds amazing.
Turns out I like being waited on hand and foot. So
Hey, it's got some nice aspects to it.
exactly. And may I say something? Sometimes I think that part of what we do, we don't let ourselves experience joy because
Mhm,
we feel like what we want are maybe they're too highfalutin, or
mhm.
they're out of reach,
Yes.
or you know how dare I come on a show and say I love to be waited on hand and but I liked it. It made me happy. So guess what? I'm gonna find an opportunity to do it again. Hello.
Absolutely.
So sometimes the things that bring us joy, we feel they're out of reach, or well, I can't tell somebody this. I'll
Right,
be proud. I'll be bragging. And then we shut ourselves off from those experiences,
right.
or
Yes.
for some reason think that we have no right to experience them again.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. And we should be doing exactly the opposite, embracing them, loving them, reliving them, doing them again.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not shutting them down and hiding them away, right? Talking about it, reliving and experiencing it.
Exactly. Sometimes that's my happy place now. The
Yeah,
cabana at the palazzo.
the new standard.
I know. New standard for happy places. Uh, yes. So so that was the time that I had so much pleasure that I'm going to repeat it again.
Going to repeat it. That's even better. I love it. Oh, that's good. So how about a story about a time when you were feeling down and then something happened that lifted you up, whether it was a change of mindset, a thought, an event, but it just brought you right back up?
Okay, so where am I why am I laughing? Like, well, there was 1 month I had no money and now I have money. So but no, it's money can people say money can't buy happiness, but money can help you do things to fuel your happiness. Let's put it
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Because everybody that says money can't buy happiness, they're not trying to give their money away.
No. True. It may not buy it, but it certainly facilitates it.
Ha, facilitate, exactly. So back to your original question. When I was feeling down and something happened that lifted me up. So let me see. Wow, it's amazing. I have to actually think about it. Why am I stumped? I don't know. Okay.
Maybe you don't ever feel down, and that's okay.
No, that's not the case, actually. That's not the case. I do feel down, but I can somehow, I think over the summer. Okay, so over the summer, I had a few setbacks in my business.
Mhm.
And, like I was telling somebody, look, I've been riding a gravy train since 2019, and, to the point where by the end of 2020, I was actually able to quit my job and be fine.
Mhm.
So over the summer, we had some bit setbacks, no new clients, stuff like that. And it's like, okay, these bills are mounting. So I can say that I can say that I was feeling down
Mhm.
and while trying to figure things out. But I don't know, even in that, I was still able to look for the nugget of wisdom, the nugget of joy, the nugget of creativity. So
Mhm.
even though technically one could say that from June to September I was feeling down, but I didn't interpret it to myself as that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense at this point.
Yes, it does.
Ah, that's good. So I mean, I think that if it had been maybe previous years and all that, I
Mhm.
would have been really devastated.
Mhm.
But instead of so taking the thought, the circumstance of, oh my goodness, business is suffering a slump. Okay, well, but what's going on here?
Mhm.
So from that, I was able to create new programs. I
Oh.
was able through that, I learned to stop worrying
Ah,
because worrying takes away your energy. So instead of worrying, I
yes.
got creative. I was like, what do I do? Now I've launched this new program, and oh my goodness, the launch is going so well. Like,
Awesome.
people are signing up, even doctors that I kind of look up to are like signing up, and they're like, oh yeah, 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 I want to do your program, etc., etc. So, you know, the thing that so I could technically say, well, my business suffered a slump and then now it's getting better,
Mhm.
that yeah, and that's lifted me up. But even in the slump,
Yes.
I was able to embrace joy and be lifted up every day while going through this. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
you know what, do something. I went back, you go back to the basics, do
Yes.
something that brings you joy every day. There
Yes.
was one day, and then I had some family drama going on. There was one day I went out, I bought myself a cup of coffee,
Mhm.
I went to a park, opened the trunk of my car. I have an SUV. So
Okay.
I put on spa music and I sat in the trunk of my car drinking my coffee. People
Oh,
were
nice.
passing by, they were staring at me. I'm like, I'm gonna sit here and drink my coffee and look at these green leaves and the trees and listen to my music. I
Oh,
just
that's
sat there.
great.
It was a Friday morning, and I was like, so when I know for myself that I have to purposely do things that bring me joy.
Okay.
And I took some selfies and of myself drinking coffee sitting in the trunk of my own car. And
Oh, great.
I was so happy. After that, I was so happy. And I
Yes.
went on and I went about my day. So
Mhm.
really, it's a daily thing.
Yes.
The- in everybody's day, there's always a circumstance that can bring you down.
Mhm.
but there's always something you can do to get your joy back
Mm-hmm.
to where it is. And this doesn't mean you bypass your negative emotions, not at all. Because you're still, but you can do both things. You can
Yes.
still manage your negative emotions and embrace joy. We are complex people.
Yes.
You see, you don't only do one thing. Like somebody says, you can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Right. Yes.
You can walk and chew gum at the same time. They talk about multitasking. Guess
Right.
what?
Right.
You can process negative emotions and embrace joy at the same time. They
Yes.
don't have to be two separate things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that. I love how you said you took the negativity and turned it into creativity. That was great.
I sure did. And I'm looking at my numbers for the month and I'm like, oh, okay, we're in the black now. Okay, I'm loving
Oh,
it.
nice. Love that. All that, yeah, turning it around. It sounds like it followed your energy. I mean, when you find your joy and you find that happy place, everything around you follows.
It does. It really does.
That's great. And I love that. Sitting in your car in the trunk, drinking your
Yeah.
coffee.
Yep. So freeing.
Totally. In the middle of the day, just like la la la. That's great.
Yep. Joy always gives you an energy boost.
Definitely. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. That is so true. And then being in nature too. I mean, I know it was a park, but still, you had trees around and all of that. That's always good. Nature is always
Always
a good source of calm and
precisely.
joy.
Yeah, we were made for nature, not brick walls. But
Yes.
we need the brick walls to protect us from the elements. But
Right.
we still have to take out that time and just go into nature. And I knew that once I was sitting out in nature
Mm-hmm.
with my music, I would feel so much better.
Yes. Yes. That's great. Oh, I love that. Good. Good. Oh, this is awesome. So, can you recall a time when probably many times, when you just erupted into spontaneous laughter like now? It just
That
comes up
answers
and
your
out
question. This answers your question. Now, whoever is going to watch this, I hope they can they can hear the words that we're saying.
I know. Exactly. True.
So this
Oh,
morning, after we did the Primal Scream, we just laughed. It was so funny, and they were like, "Wow, that feels good."
yes, that's a good one. That's a good one to try. It just, yeah, it's so, I can imagine so freeing. I've actually done that sometime, and I just love the way you just move the energy with that, and then
Yes, exactly.
let in the good stuff.
Just, whew, just let it all out. It's like, well, nobody's going to hear us. It's just us
Oh,
in the car.
yeah,
Go. Let
perfect.
us scream. 1, 2, 3, scream.
That is so good. I love that. I love that. Oh, wow. So, okay, so feeling good. How has feeling good put you in the flow state, or how has being in the flow state made things easy for you? And when you feel productive and things just work out, and how do you feel like being in the flow state has been made you more productive?
Wow, that's a good one. Flow state. I once wrote a book in 2 weeks from being in the flow state. Like,
Wow.
like, oh, we're done.
How easy was that, huh?
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. It was just like it's like you're literally, I don't know whether I've heard the phrase collapsing time.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tried to take advantage of those times
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in that state
Yes.
to just, just go with the things I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I find that now I can't say that I have a formula for getting into that state. I wish I did, but I find that there's some things that, help me sort of clear away the resistance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love music. I have playlists for every darn thing on this Spotify. I was telling one of my clients this morning that Spotify is going to be collecting money from me until I die because not. Hey, we're married now.
Yep. Yep.
I have all these different playlists for different things. So for example, like when I was in the process of creating my new program, and you know, when you're creating a new program, you don't know how it's going to be received. You know,
Right.
you have faith, you put all the bits and pieces together, the strategy, okay, giving the best offer. You know, there's so many things that come together. People just see programs and they're like, oh, okay, but there's so much that has to come together to create
Right.
the program. So
Yes.
when I was in that creative process and being like, who knows whether they're going to sign up, right?
Mhm.
And then you start to feel the energy slump down, like, and when you do that, you can't give it your best because you're like, well, who knows?
Right.
So there's this song I would play it every day after I dropped my kids off at school. I'm gonna date myself, but who cares? It was from the 90s. This song that Chris Cross did with Supercat. It's titled All Right. You know, and
Mhm.
it was talking, and they were rapping about themselves and how
Yeah.
how they grew up and stuff
Right.
like that. And
Right.
that song just put me into this state of, yeah, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And then I would get home and then boom, because I'm dropping my kids off. I play this music. I get home and I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. Let's pound this out. So I really believe that there's power in music,
Mhm.
and it's untapped. You know,
Yes.
I don't find a lot of people talking about music and what music does for them and
Mhm.
all of that, because music has a lot of power to change your moods, change your
Yeah.
state. And if you pay attention to the kind of music that moves you
Yeah.
and how it moves you,
Yes.
it's very, very powerful. I mean, they
Yes.
say music, is it not? They say music is the food of the soul. It really
Yes.
is,
Yes.
but sometimes I ask people, what music do you like? Oh, I don't really listen to music. And I'm like, what planet do you come from with all the music that's going on?
Right.
You know, music, you can use music for meditation. I actually
Yeah.
just shared a song with right before I was, I got off with a client like not too long before we started this, and
Mhm.
I shared a song about self-forgiveness, you know.
Mhm.
And I was like, you can listen to it and meditate on it and all of
Yes.
that. And music is very, very powerful. I think you have to find the music that moves you,
Mhm.
and 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 what kind of music fits whatever mood that you're trying to create or trying to be in, etc.
Yes, music. I agree with you. I think that's such a true statement. Music is so powerful because it just gets in there, like into our cells or something. It makes you, if it's the kind of upbeat stuff, it just makes you want to move and get up,
Yep.
and just your whole body gets into it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. You know, it's music is very powerful, and I really think it's a tool that's not utilized enough.
Yes, yes, that's true. And like you said, there's so many different um, types of music. So you can find, depending on what state you want to be in or where you resonate at that moment, you can find
Yep,
that type of music. It's so much variety that, yeah, you
exactly.
just
You
find
know,
whatever you
there's
need in the
something
moment.
for everybody.
Yep.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, how has feeling good helped you be more successful?
Oh my goodness. Are we going to leave here today? Okay, I will try to compress this. How has feeling good made you more successful? Oh my goodness. Remember the story I told about how one day I was feeling so great, and the next day, with the thoughts of having to go back into this situation,
Yes.
I mean, it was like I went from 100 to zero on immediately I woke up. As
Okay.
in, talk about feeling in the pit of the stomach, wanting to die, zero.
Mhm.
Where
Mhm.
from the day before, I was like, I was on top of the world. I was having so much fun with my kids. I wanted to like freeze every moment in time.
Yeah.
And now I'm laying on my bed thinking thoughts of self-harm
Mm,
because that was what I was doing.
okay.
Because I felt so good the day before and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Yeah.
So when I realized that feeling good is more empowering than feeling bad.
Yes.
Being inspired is more motivating and more empowering than trying to do things out of willpower.
Yes.
encouragement is more empowering than shame.
Mm-hmm.
Positive reinforcement is more empowering than negative reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to kids, bribery and incentives work better than punishment.
Okay.
They're not choosing. Like, oh, you need to do this and I'm going to give you something. Like, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I should do this more often. So now, don't tell anybody. What I
Right.
do is I'll buy something they actually need. And like, oh, if you do this, I'll give you this. It's something they actually need. I was planning to buy it anyway, but do they need to know that? No.
Right.
And all of a sudden, people are getting up in the morning and doing like,
Wow.
oh, good is more empowering than bad. But somehow we've got it flipped.
Mm-hmm.
We've got it flipped. And when I realized that, I started to be more purposeful about even when I want to motivate myself. When I want to motivate myself, I'll open a book, maybe a self-help book, and I'll think of some great thing I've done, rather than thinking, if you don't do this, this bad thing or this other bad thing will happen.
Right.
You know? Instead, wow, if you do this, look what's on the other side of that. Oh,
yes. Yes.
And so really feeling good makes you more successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's only so much grinding you can do when you are not in a state of, I would say, desperation. For example, if you were close to starvation or close to homelessness, like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my home. I need to grind. But when you've gotten to that basic level and you want to go higher, you have to lean into the positive, lean into joy, lean into inspiration, motivation, as opposed to leaning away from punishment and what bad things could happen on the flip side.
Yes, yes, well said. I love that. I love how you made the point that joy is more empowering, it gives you energy.
Energy, yes. Whereas trying to beat yourself over the head, I should go to the gym. Think about it. Right. I should go to the gym. Even the words sound like being dumped. If it sounds as if a load of wet socks were dumped on you.
Yes.
But what if you say, wow, I feel so good. I get to go to the gym.
Yes.
Working? Oh man, let's do it.
Let's do it, yeah. Right.
I already feel like going to the gym.
Yes, brilliant. Yes, perfect. I love that. Yeah, that's such a good point.
It is. It is. Even if I say so myself, imagine. Someone says that's a good point. It's not me to say thank you. I say it is. Like I said before we started, it's me. It's just me.
That's beautiful. And you are beautiful. So do you have any daily practices or habits or routines that you do to help you connect with your joy?
That's a very good question, because I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, what will feed my soul today? Mm-hmm. You know, in the business world, like, have routines, meditate every day, do your affirmations, blah, 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 blah. Those things are great, okay? Yeah. So do I meditate every day? Yes. Do I pray every day? Yes. Do I exercise every day? Maybe not every day, more like every other day, especially in the winter. Now it's raining, but I go outside every day when it's nice. Yeah. But I actually ask myself, what is going to feed my soul today? And I think that's a more empowering question than, oh, I have to meditate or else.
Yes.
You know, I have to do this or else. What will feed my soul today? So it varies. Sometimes I will listen to a book. Sometimes I'll meditate for a long period of time. Sometimes I will get up in the morning at 5 and start working. I'll just start working immediately. Bum, 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 bum. Take these kids to school. Then I'll come back and then I'll do my prayers and meditation, maybe read a book. I have these cards, these soulful woman cards. They're just they're little. So I'll just, pick 3 and pick that as my inspiration for the day.
Yes.
So there's so many practices that can help you, build joy into your life, that you get to pick and choose.
Yes.
So instead of having a routine of, okay, I'm going to meditate, do my affirmations, read a book, do my gratitude practice, the journal. There's so many things that you get. It's like a buffet. You know, when
Yes.
you go to a buffet, it's not every day you want to eat chicken. Maybe
Right.
one day you want to eat chicken, another day you want to eat jello,
Right.
another day you want to eat salad, another day you want to eat all three and put them on the same plate.
Right. Exactly.
You know, but when
Yes.
we walk
Yes.
into a buffet, we don't go, what must I eat? No, we go, what do I feel like eating right now?
Right. Yes.
So with
Yes.
this buffet of mindset practices and routines and things,
Mhm.
let's not box ourselves in. Let's
Yes.
ask ourselves, what will feed my soul today? And
Yes.
sometimes it's listen like it was listening to that music on my way home, reminding myself everything was going to be all right, and then I jump out. Sometimes it's taking a more meditative tone to my
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's doing some tai chi.
Yes.
Sometimes it is journaling. Sometimes it is reading off a list of 30 affirmations.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
You know, sometimes it is. Sometimes I wrote this on this. I wrote this little mantra. I'm irresistible. And sometimes I look at that. I'm like, yeah, I'm irresistible. So go out there and do your thing. Sometimes it's looking at that and remembering I'm irresistible, and that's what feeds my soul for the day. I'm
Yes.
not putting myself under any pressure to do. If you don't do this one thing, you will
Right.
never succeed in life. Girl, I'm so done with that life.
Yes. Yeah, I love that because it's like what we it's good to do what inspires us in the moment. So we come from
Yes,
a place of inspiration versus a place of have to.
yes.
Yes. Yes. And that just makes all the difference in the world. Yeah, that's great. So, do you have any tips that you can give to help others find their joy?
Oh, absolutely. Again, how long do we have? Um, so I think the first thing is to realize that you deserve it.
Mhm.
If you don't feel you deserve joy, look, there's no way to candy coat it. You will never have it. Because there's always going to be a circumstance or threatening circumstance that will tell you that you shouldn't have joy, or you
Mhm.
shouldn't have joy yet, or you shouldn't, you know. So, number one, believe you deserve it.
Yes.
That's where it starts from.
Mhm.
Because when you say to yourself, I deserve this,
Mhm.
which is what with me and this organization, I got up and I was like, I deserve better.
Yes.
See, know that you deserve it. Number two, um, prioritize your needs.
Mhm. Okay.
What do I need?
Mhm.
As opposed to what should I do? So,
Mhm.
they say I should meditate every day,
Mhm.
right? You know what? I need to read a book.
Yeah.
This is what I need right now. I need to read this particular book on this particular thing because this is what I need. Oh, but they
Mhm.
say we should meditate every day. These rules, I don't know where they come from, but
Yeah.
okay. So realize that you deserve it.
Mhm.
Prioritize your needs and
Mhm.
what you want, and then free yourself from unrealistic expectations of others and of yourself.
Mhm. Mhm. Great.
The minute you free yourself from all these expectations of this must be that to be a certain way, as long as what you're doing is not illegal, immoral, or unethical,
Mhm.
I mean, who cares if jump up in the morning and dance naked in the bathroom because that gives you joy.
Right.
Oh, by the way, you should try that if you haven't tried the naked dancing in front of the mirror. Oh my goodness. It's
Okay.
like the scream. It's like the scream. It's liberating.
Okay.
Um,
Good one.
you know, free yourself from these unrealistic expectations, either that people have placed on you or that
Yes.
you have. Now, the next thing is because man is like a pack animal, right?
Mhm.
So we tend to ask the wrong questions. Like I remember I was in a group once and said, well, I'm feeling some type of way. Ladies, what do you do for self-care?
Mhm.
I turned back, I said, what do you want to do for self-care?
Yeah.
Because what I like,
Right.
I might like primal screaming and you might hate it.
Right.
I might like jumping up and down naked and you might hate it.
Right.
I know somebody who hates affirmations.
Mhm.
Like she doesn't like them, she doesn't do them. But imagine if that person was holding herself up to some unrealistic standard, or have to do affirmations, the person would never be happy.
Right.
So you have to look inward and find what brings you joy
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to it and incorporate it into your life.
Yes.
Don't let joy just be a one-off thing.
Yes.
But that comes back to deserving, right? If you don't feel you deserve it, when you have the one-off joyful experience, you'd be like, oh, well, now it's back to the grind, back to reality, back to salt mines. No, your reality should be a joyful reality. Why will you live 80, 90 years on this earth and be unhappy?
Right.
That is something that has never made sense to me.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Did I come to the world to suffer?
Mm-hmm.
Because life already brings challenges. Why will you not be happy? You know, find a way to be happy. Like sometimes I just sit down and I think of something and I smile. And why not?
Exactly. That's great.
I just or I'll go to my kids and make a corny joke and they'll roll their eyes like, Mom. And it makes me, because now it's funny to me that, oh my goodness, look at these little things rolling their eyes at me. And then I come back to my office and I sit down. It's like, you don't realize what you've just done for me. I wanted to tell you a corny joke so that you roll your eyes at me and I find that funny.
Right.
Find what brings you joy. Find your joy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's walking barefoot in the grass or, you know, dancing, frolicking through the flowers, or getting a manicure or whatever it is, or, you know, oh, wow, to be productive, you have to watch less TV. If you like TV and TV brings you joy, by all means, watch TV.
Watch TV, yes.
Watch TV, you know?
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, that's great. That's good. Let all the shoulds go. No more shoulds.
No more shoulds. Instead, replace it with I want to, I desire to, I get to.
Yes.
No more shoulds, ought to, must, have to. Those things are like literally like it's like a bunch of wet socks were dumped in your lap.
Yes. Yes.
And it sucks the joy out of your life.
Yes. Exactly.
If I can be joyful doing a 4-hour commute every day in traffic in Chicago.
Wow.
Every day. This is my sentence now. I look at this, I get to do this. I have a freaking captive audience. I mean, they're literally captive. They're sitting in my car. There's nowhere for anybody to go.
Right.
Then I start to talk to them. I start to tell them about life. I ask them questions. Tell them about boys. Tell them about, give them the whole don't use drugs spiel. Give them whatever spiel I feel like giving them. That's what they will get today.
Right.
That's, you're in my car. If you don't like it, you can walk to school. Good luck with that. I'm looking at it as, oh my goodness, what an opportunity to spend 4 hours talking to my children every single day.
There you go.
That is like a blessing from God.
Yes. Yes, that's true. Yeah, very true. Awesome. Yep, I love that.
Find your joy and find joy in things that maybe on the surface may not ordinarily be joyful, like traffic.
Right. Right. Yes. So where can people find you if they want to find out more about what you do, or if they potentially want to work with you? Where can they find you?
A good place to start would be my website, sholaezeokoli.com. And if they're a physician, another website, physicianhealyourself.life. I couldn't get the .com, so I got the .life.
But it's perfect. It says what exactly you're trying to do. So
exactly. I was like, well, you know, maybe I should just buy everything .life now, you know, hey. You can find me there. You can send me an email. I have like free resources on those websites that anyone can avail themselves of. I'm very active on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So, and you know, I am literally the only Shola Ezeokoli in existence. So, you know, if you actually Google my name, I'm the one. You know, Shola Ezeokoli, that's me. I'm the only one. So basically, I can be found on Google.
So you're easy. That's awesome. Oh, Shola, this has been amazing. I have loved having this conversation with you.
I know. I've enjoyed it so much. When we met on that, we met not long ago, and and you were talking about your podcast. I'm like, a podcast about joy? I haven't been on it. Oh, we gotta change that. So I
Absolutely.
signed up like right away, right in that meeting.
Yes,
I
you
just
did.
like, boom, and I just like, yep, we're doing it. We're doing it now.
That's good. I'm so glad you did. I so appreciate that.
Thank you. And I've had such a great time with you. You have a beautiful smile and such an infectious laugh. And your hair, oh my goodness, is
Thank
so
you.
gorgeous. I was like,
Oh,
I want her hair.
thank you. I would love to keep you around all day. I could just talk to you all day, but I know you're a busy lady, so.
So, and hopefully you'll have me back again if I'm not too much for your audience.
No, I would love that. Oh my gosh. No, this has been amazing. I would so love that if you wouldn't mind coming and joining us again. This has been
Okay.
excellent. So,
Thank you very much for having
mwah,
me.
I
I
just loved
appreciate it.
it. All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.